What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilkin with training camp finishing up this week, actually in the next day or two. We need to talk about the current run that's currently going on. So this, the actual exchange itself is going away in the 10th, but I believe the final missions are actually finishing up today. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now, unfortunately, these started when I was out of town, so I didn't really get a chance to cover all of them. Those are not the missions. Let's go down here. We are looking for training camp. So, log in for 7 days. Hopefully you did that. Every day you needed to do Battle Arena and clear an Uncharted Battlefield. Those are pretty easy. I covered all of Uncharted Battlefield. If you haven't cleared that, that actually goes away tonight. So make sure you get on that ASAP. But here's the deal. So I'll go ahead and grab my 10-day login. There we go. And you got about 3 hours left on this. So if you haven't done these, it's a good opportunity to get in there. They are cumulative, so it's not the end of the world. But let's go talk about the missions. So if we go down here to the exchange, and we go, or not the missions, I'm sorry, the rewards. If we go here to training camp, I have 313 of these coins, so I need to start making, like, legitimate decisions. Now, there's a good and a bad to this. Number one, note at the top, the bad. You only get half the bonds that you need in order to awaken a unit, and you cannot mix and match bonds. So, case in point, if I go over here, and let's say, I think I grabbed her bonds, I believe. No, I did not. I grabbed somebody's bonds, and I don't remember who now. But anyway, Tiona's one of the ones up for grabs, and I literally need one more bond to complete her. So if I go over here to Awaken, we will get 5 bonds for her, will be half of what I need in order to max them at Breaker. So in other words, once I get the extra bonds for her, then I can go in and just awaken her. So whenever she reruns on the training camp, basically I have an awakening even if I don't get one when I do summons. So that's a complete thing. To me, that's completely worth. Also, Tiona's not half bad. Or Tione, I'm sorry. Is not half bad. She's electric unit. If you go back to our electric tier list, all the electric units are kind of pretty low in the totem pole. But the honest answer here is, it's like her and Aisha are like the only two that are really all that great. Neither one of them are spectacular, but at some point you are going to need electric units. And if you didn't grab Artemis the 47 times she reran, you know, you weren't around when either Hedon or Otaro ran, you kind of, you know, you don't have a lot of choices. So when it comes to Uncharted Battlefield and things like that, you're going to need some electric units. And I think those two are the only two that are really worth their salt in the general pool. So for that reason alone, I would say go ahead and grab her bonds here. I think it's super worthwhile. But before you do that, let's talk about the other two. I just happen to have enough coins I could justify doing that. But let's talk about Bet. Let's not. Bet sucks. Bet is trash. I know some people are going to say, oh, but he can buff the rate at which you achieve techniques or ults or things like that. Sure, he can. He could do that to the same level that any other speed unit can, but significantly less. And he can't solo any event. He's trash. So I would say just don't unless you absolutely have like 4 bonds in your bet and you're desperate to max them out. Like the only situation. Bet sucks. I'd leave him alone. Mystical Fallen is an interesting one. Mystical Fallen, I think, right now is something that is super worth, so I would go ahead and grab that if you can. But I think the all-encompassing Falna, we get enough of that. I'm going to save those 10 for, you know, something later on down the road. Now, Loki. We do have to talk about Loki, because I think Loki is a great asset. But she does have one kind of negative caveat to her. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Where is she? I think she's one of my level 80s. Is she not? Level 70? There she is. Level 70. Okay. So when it comes to Loki, very specifically, in fact, we're going to go in here to her skill details. Now, for whatever reason, I don't have her maxed. I need to fix that. Like, nah, you know, we're going to fix that real quick. Because I should have her maxed. There we go. I use her often enough. There's no reason not to max her out. So, I don't know why she wasn't. I was convinced she was, but I guess sometimes you got to come in here and check, right? Level 8 used to be like the go-to default level, so that's probably what it was. I just haven't checked on her in a while. There we go. So now that she is maxed in all those skills, and I do need two bonds for her to awaken completely, so that is a thing. Let's go ahead and look at what she does at full MLB, though. Okay. Support technique to your unit, apply 90% magic increase for 10 seconds. Cooldown is 25 seconds. So for the first 10 seconds, you get that extra technique. For the next 15 seconds, you're kind of, waiting on it. However, for you only want it to last 10 seconds because during those 10 seconds, you take increased damage. 90% magic, though, is insane. Absolutely bonkers. If you pair her with this Leafy unit right here, boom, she will do some absolutely bonkers numbers. And we could talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about that when it comes to doing the trials and things like that. But that's her big thing. Oop, not Leafy. We want Loki. Assist Loki. There we go. Boom. All right. So let's go back to max limit break. And once she's max limit broken, she gives a 30% increase in normal damage. It's like any regular attack. It's 30% extra in damage. 22.5% dex, so makes your unit a little bit quicker. Actually, a decent amount quicker. And when in battle, 15% magic increase to your unit. Once again, for everything else she does for Leafia, that extra 15% magic is immense. Now, if you're still, only 1 or 2 limit breaks in, she's not going to do a whole lot. She doesn't get the 15% until she's at limit break 4, which mine will actually get next limit break. The dex increase happens at limit break 3, and then the normal attack increase happens at limit break 2. So my unit already has that. Let's look at her base skills. So apply 58.5% magic increase for 10 seconds with a cooldown of 30 seconds. At A0, that goes up to 67.5% at A1. And at MLB, it becomes 90. So it's a huge bump. Huge bump. And her cooldown goes down 25 seconds. So this unit is super, super worth. I think of anybody here, Loki's a must-have unit. Especially for your magic teams. I think she's an absolute must-have. If you have to pick one over the other, I would absolutely say do Loki. And I would rarely say that about an assist, but I think Loki is really, really good. Downside is you do need somebody bulky enough that can handle the increased amount of damage, but, it just genuinely is what it is. And I would love to show you a great run with Leafia, but kind of the problem I've got with her right now is that if I do like Uncharted Battlefield or something like that, she doesn't do... I know what we can do. Give me one moment here. So I'm going to use the individual point ranking that's currently live in the event we have at the moment, and I'll just kind of show you what I mean, because my Loki is A3, my Leafy is A3, and you could surmise from this just how bonkers this combo could be once they're fully max limit broken. By the way, Leafia will be on training camp at some point in the near future, so do bear in mind that is going to be a thing. There we go. So let's charge this all the way up. Notice she does damage if you're close enough, which is phenomenal. Can you hurt him? Thank you. Fully stacked up. Oh, I think we missed. Did we miss? All right, let's see if we can do that again. Come on, girl. There we go. He does have some hits that will interrupt her charge, so I don't want to go too crazy here. Let's see. 38. So we can charge this all the way up to 50 stacks. Oh, I didn't even see the number there. Let's try that one more time. Let's go ahead and do her... Did she miss an ult? Alright, we'll charge her up here one more time. I think we can manage this. Now, we are going to be a little bit slower. He is going to kind of come out of there. Hopefully he won't interrupt us too badly. I still didn't see the number. He keeps pushing us around. There we go. We broke his shield. We're at 25 stacks. Yeah, 500k with a crit. 500k with a crit, and mine's only at limit break 3. Oh, we didn't have Loki in play. Oh my goodness. So you have to time this out just right. So I want to emphasize here, we did 500k without Loki in play. I wonder if can we charge it with Loki in play? Let's kind of restart this one. Let's retry it. Because obviously I'm just goofing around. I'm not actually going for score here. I got so hyper-focused on getting Leafy's attack off, I completely forgot to activate Loki. So I wonder if we can activate Loki while she's charging. Would be an interesting test here. There we go. Will she continue charging? No, she will not. But her charges stay in effect. So what we'll do... Okay, we'll launch a blast here. 485k without Loki in play, mind you. And at limit break 3. Alright. We'll launch that there. I could just do some base attacks on him. Alright, so what we can do... She'll start to lose stacks in a minute. Girl, you missed again. What the heck? Alright, so we've got... I'll get it almost all the way up there. There we go. 43 stacks. Oh no, we lost all our stacks. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, can we keep it in play? 747 with only like 30 stacks. 747. So we almost did 1,000,000 damage with old girl. But I had to launch a little bit earlier than I would have liked to. There we go. Anyway, you get the idea. He's just juggling me in the corner now. We need to get out. Nevertheless, 747 without being fully stacked. If you're really good, you can like juggle Loki and then bring Leafia back into play here. You know, like basically use Loki to interrupt your stack building and then go back in. Let's see if we can do that one more time, actually. We have Loki back. So here we go. We have 30 stacks. And why do I feel like that should have done more damage? Anyway, doesn't matter. We've seen the number. Girl, why do you keep missing? Anyway. Nevertheless, you get the idea. I've seen old girl do bonkers numbers with Loki. So yes, Loki is super worth. And Leafia is a general pool unit. She's not even one you necessarily need to like do time limited summons for anything. Both of those units are base level units you can get when you first start the game in the initial gacha. Or if we go down here in this gacha, where I actually got a few summons I could do. Let's go into the draw right here. Where is she? Yeah, she's right there in front of my face. 1,000 Elf Leafia right here. And Loki, if we go down to UR assists, unreliable statements Loki. There you go. So both of them are in the general pool. In fact, both of them are in your rerolls. So both of them are absolutely worthwhile. So I would highly recommend getting Loki, if nothing else, from the exchange. I think Tione's okay, but as far as values go, Loki first, Tione second, and then just don't bother with Bet because he sucks. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, share. I know I goofed up the fight, but we tried. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.